Welcome. I'm Dee, and this is the Unguided Life where I am taking it one day at a time, bring you guys along for the journey to hold me accountable as I budget my way through life. It has technically been a long time since I actually filmed. Now you have been seeing some videos back to back. That's only because I pre-recorded, and yeah, we'll get into why it has been 2 weeks since I actually sat still and filmed what I'm doing with my budget. Today, we are going to focus on our check-ins. So I do weekly check-ins, and that is to help keep me accountable with staying within budget in categories and with my credit card that in the past I have actually failed to do. So, because I am a binder budgeter, I create these worksheets and purchase worksheets that fit my budget. And I always recommend everyone to do that because not one budget is the same, okay? Our needs are different. Our wants are different. We're at different steps in our journey. So always create a budget or a way of budgeting that keeps you consistently looking at your budget, tracking it, and setting goals. Okay? Well, I'm going to want to set goals so in the end we can reflect on those goals and we can see how much we have accomplished. So we are in the month of February. This is actually the second week of my February budget. And what I do to prepare myself with checking in on my budget is I first take out my monthly budget overview worksheet, and this is the detailed view. It talks about my goals, my income, the expenses, and how I want to spend my discretionary income. One reason why I pull this out is to look at the goals to see exactly if I'm on task. I don't make adjustments to these goals. I either at the end of the month I'm going to reach them or I'm not. But it keeps me aligned to keep me focused on what I need to do goal wise in order to have this be a successful month. The next thing I do is I check the expenses to determine which expenses have cleared my bank account or have actually posted to my credit card. So week 1 went from January 28th to February 3rd, and week 2 goes from February 4th to February 10th. So all the expenses listed here have been covered. Additionally, I have reached the threshold for the amount that I wanted to give. Though I'm not done giving, I have reached this threshold, so I went ahead and put a check so I know that. Every other area has not been posted to my account nor to my credit card because we are currently in the middle of the budget. Not the middle of the month, but the middle of the budget. So the next thing that I take out is the income breakdown. So right here, this was the guide that I used on my budgeting journey, my February budgeting journey. Okay. Now we received money, so I had to make a pit stop. So I got off on the road and I looked at the income that I received and I told that income what to do, because that's what we like to do. We like to tell our money what to do before it tells us what to do. And because we already had our guide with the detailed view, we knew exactly what expenses we needed to pay. Either this was going to process from my checking or the credit card. Also, when we were done determining how much of this income will go to this category, we then funded our sinking funds categories, which I have 4 sinking fund categories. 3 I actually track from week to week. Then we have our envelope system, And this is the funds that I deposit in the envelope system after I determine what was left after the sinking funds. In the end, we know that we're working on paying off debt. So now I need to make sure I'm sending money to debt. And I also need to make sure I'm building up a little cushion in my checking buffer. Okay, so we're just gonna move this a little bit to the side. So here I was just going over the transaction as well as explaining why I didn't check in week 1. And long story short, I tested positive for COVID during the first week and I was down bad, y'all. I'm doing so much better. So that's why we're on camera and we are checking. So then we're going to move over to, this is the weekly check-in sheet. So as we can see, I already did week 1, which went from the 28th to the 3rd. And we get out this pen. I like this. I got this from, well, I'm not sure if it's this exact one, but I like this type of pen. I seen Rochelle with Rochelle Alderson Budget use it, and it's just easier for what I use it for. So for expenses, it was $1,365. $1,246 is what actually cleared my bank account or posted to the credit card, and I left them with $119. For food, of course, $150. I spent $73.42, and that left $76.58. I didn't spend anything in gas, so I left them with $60. Nothing was in household. I spent $35.62 out of personal, which I budgeted $63.88. That left me with $28.26. So I took those balances and I transferred them to week 2, which went from February 4th to February 10th. And then for expenses, the 119 of that, $80 has posted to my account, or you guessed it, posted to my credit card. When it came to food, there was only one transaction, and that was the $23.52. Then for gas, it was one transaction of $44.61. And then for personal, we had those several transactions of $10.68. The balance of, or rebalancing my account, so that's $1.80, and then the transaction at the post office of $1.16. So that was $13.64. So of the $119 minus $80, that left me with $39. And that $39 is because I didn't sign up for that course just yet, because I was down in the first week. So I didn't have the energy to do anything really. So then for the food category, it's $53.06. Then for gas, it is $15.39. And then for personal, what is remaining is $14.62. And then, of course, I just look back at this here and I just compare and make sure those amounts are the same here. And that's my check of it's my extra check. So then we go to our expense tracker. This is for the check and buffer. I haven't spent anything out of that. And then we go to our sinking funds, and I didn't add anything in the second week to this category. I didn't spend anything. And then the same thing with Savannah and the Sandlot. Savannah is my car maintenance sinking fund. The Sandlot is my property sinking fund. So then we have our expense tracker for our credit card, because I do use credit card. I have an everyday credit card, and I have 2 credit cards are based on promotions is when I use them. So I still have this expense tracker with January transactions, because January transactions that was remaining when this billing cycle closed is the amount that we have to pay for our February bill. So that's why this is still around and still kicking, okay? Then we have the second page here. This is transactions that we had after the closing of the billing cycle, as well as the new charges that came in. So starting with the 28th was here, and I purchased something at Walmart. It was a gift. I pulled it out of the giving category. So I labeled it as sinking fund because I didn't know where else to label it, because my giving is like an expense. So I didn't know if I should, yeah, where to put it. So I put it in sinking funds because the money was there. It was in a savings account that I hadn't, because after everything that happened, the where I was given to, and I ended up giving to several sources. So I didn't give to, like, I gave to my usual organization, but then I didn't, the extra that I was giving didn't have a name. So I purchased a gift, and then I had 2 transactions for my envelope system, and you seen that when I did the spending record, and then 2 bills that processed. And so what happened was I received a refund from Style Seat. So this is the booking fee, and I had applied the credit. And when you apply the credit, it's gone, it doesn't reappear. But I did receive a refund for this transaction, and so I needed a way to be able to reflect that in my total budget. So the best way I knew how is to say that of the transactions I made at Target, I was just going to put that dollar in back into the envelope system because it was an envelope system transaction, so it can reflect what happened here as well as what happened in the spending record for the category of personal. So what happened was I made the payment of $38.51 because it came out of the monthly bill account. That's where I hold the extra giving. And then this transaction should have been the $46.56 for the Target, but I less the dollar and I only paid out $45.56. I left the dollar in that personal category. And then $32.62 was the amount for the bills. So then we go into week 2, which week 2 was about just, I really wasn't spending. It was, oh, I forgot. So the first thing that happened was, and I'm gonna get out my highlighter, is gym fees. So I didn't budget for my gym fees because I said, oh, I've already paid my gym fees, so we good in the hood. Well, I did pay my gym fee for February, but they charge you a month in ahead. So I was charged a gym fee for March in February. So my mistake, my bad. Okay, so that was an unbudgeted charge. And then we had, for our bills, I had the remaining of that PayPal paying for charge for one transaction. So that process. And then I'm part of a meetup group and they have an event coming up, and I know you're like, girl, didn't you just get COVID? Why are you up there out there in the streets with those people? Well, that's because I am definitely going to be a little bit more careful on my interactions. So, because like I said, you really don't know. You don't know who gave it to you. Nobody around me said they were sick. There's always some random coughing or sneezing near me. And yeah, I don't know. I can tell you there was an event that I went to that I suspect that's where I got exposed, but you just don't know. Okay. So yeah, but there's an event I want to attend in this upcoming week. So I went ahead and I put that on my credit card, and then I did another unbudgeted charge, and that was for Target because I needed something for my laptop, my work laptop. And what ended up happening is my work laptop is a monster, so that didn't fit. So I end up returning it. So I reflect that as a payment. And then we had our bills. So we had some more bills to come through, which was Netflix and life insurance. And I didn't put the points yet because there's something weird that's going on. I don't know. I'll just always wait to check the rewards balance, and I didn't do it at this present time, so we're good with that. So this is that transaction. And then the last thing is I had another unbudgeted transaction, and this was due to the fact that I had been lazy over the last few months of not purchasing. Oh, look what I just did. Look what I just did. Now watch me do it. this definitely is not a bill. It's unbudgeted. So now it's orange. It's orange. We'll do that so we can kind of like see that it's unbudgeted because I wasn't paying attention. But I needed the Happy Planner half size little notes here. This little notebook, and what came with it was dotted line paper, and I had found dotted line paper, but it has images on it, and I don't like that. But you know what? I just went ahead and decided, you know what? Do you get over it and buy the closest thing? So I found one that just had notes, so I purchased 4 of them, and yeah, so that was an unbudgeted purchase because you know it is what it is. So this is something new. This is expense tracking totals. As you can see, in week 1, I didn't have any unbudgeted. Sinking funds was $38.51. The envelope system was $45.56. The bills were $32.62, and the fees were 0. So let's talk about week 2. In week 2, we had 3 unbudgeted transactions. We had the 25. And you know what? We're going to slide that there. We had the 25, the 15, and then we had the 27.58. So that was $67.58. Then for sinking funds, we didn't have any sinking funds. We didn't have any envelope system. And then for bills, we had the $1.71 and the $14.93 and the $38.54. So that was $55.18. And then we didn't have any fees. So what are we going to do today? Because we need to make a payment, and we're actually just going to make one payment, and that payment is going to be from the bills account because that money is there, and that is going to be $55.18. And the reason why we are doing just that is because the unbudgeted, I haven't determined if I'm going to allocate money from another category from my envelope system to pay back the unbudgeted. They don't really fall in any category. And I just, at this point, what I usually do is allow for the unbudgeted to carry over. I don't really try to pay that off right away. I pay what I have already allocated and then allow for the unbudgeted to fall into the next billing cycle. For me, there's no immediate need to make a payment at this, like when I say no immediate need, the reason is because I make all these small payments and they always equal up to my statement balance and or my minimum, that I technically will not have to make any payment until March bill, but we don't roll like that. So we want to go ahead and pay what we can. And so we're going to definitely pay out of our bills account. So that's going to leave me with $166.51. And yeah, and so I just want to check with the 166.51, and let's minus 67.58, and it should give us 98.93. Yep, I just wanted to make sure. So that's me checking in. I'm all checked in. By the time you see this, like I said, I am 100% better at this present time. And yeah, D, get it together. Don't drop your don't drop your defenses again. And you know, I want to be out and about, but I definitely want to be careful, and I want you all to be careful as well. All right. Before I close out, I am going to say I'm going to put an X here. I decided not to re-up my mileage tracker. I'm going to use the free version. I really haven't been doing too much of my side gigs, so I'm not going to invest $60 in something I'm really not going to use, and there are free versions out there that I can use, and I had been using. So yeah, we're going to go back to doing that. And I am on track to bring in at least an extra 500. I'm not sure where I'm at this present time, but I'm definitely close. All right. We are finita. In the meantime, in between time. Peace.